This is a massive development for the Toronto Raptors as RJ Barrett spoke out about his plan this offseason to improve and step up his game. And he has some big plans which could really turn him from a rising star in the NBA to a legitimate bona fide all-star. The same jump that Scotty Barnes took at the beginning of this year. I wouldn't be shocked if RJ sort of implements the things that he says, and he'll be competing for all-star teams and potentially get into that upper echelon of players in the league. So we'll discuss that, including Immanuel Quickley speaking out on free agency and his future with the Toronto Raptors. So lots of stuff to sink our teeth into in this video. But before we dive into that, folks, again, over 51% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel. And folks, we want to keep you up to date with everything happening regarding this team during the offseason because things are about to be wild. There's about to be a lot of big decisions that have to be made by Masai Ujiri. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. But let's dive in the first topic of discussion because Immanuel Quickley had some comments regarding, his potential future with the Raptors. Basically, he came out in his sort of post-season presser and said that he absolutely loves Toronto. Since day one that he's got here, they've done nothing but show me love, and love is an action word, just not something you throw around. Obviously, my team and my agent have to deal with everything there, but he loves Toronto. So, again, this isn't something that I think is crazy news. It's awesome to see that Immanuel Quickley is happy to be here. He's excited to be here. It's not just sort of a little write-off or, minor comment regarding, Toronto and things like that. Immanuel Quickley wants to be in the city. He's a restricted free agent, so the Raptors kind of control whether or not he comes back or not. But it seems like he's going to work out a deal with the Toronto Raptors that makes sense, and he'll be around here long-term. And frankly, this is what needs to happen. IQ has been a beast since we've acquired him, averaging on the season, right? IQ, who's only 24 years old, still developing, still growing as a basketball player, 17, 4, and 5. But really what's more important is what he was doing with the Toronto Raptors because he was averaging 18.6 points per night, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 40% from behind the three-point line. Just elite all around. Immanuel Quickley was in terms of his production this season. So, again, he brings it on the defensive end. His playmaking has extremely impressed me since the Toronto Raptors acquired him. We knew that he could be an electrifying scorer. He was doing it backing up Brunson for those last couple of years. But the playmaking is something that, especially we get Scotty back, we get a Pirtle back, we have a more complete roster going into next year. We're going to see IQ really flourish, working pick and rolls, being able to, hit guys, hit lob threats, hit different targets around the basket. So this is a guy that I believe in. I'm pumped to have back. And even if it's a little bit of an expensive contract, I think Immanuel Quickley will prove everyone wrong in terms of doubters that will think, he's getting overpaid. I've seen some mainstream media people like Bill Simmons and stuff say the IQ contract is going to be bad. But frankly, I think they're wrong. I think Immanuel Quickley is going to take that jump. Maybe a Jalen Brunson-esque jump, when he joins. He obviously got traded, but when he's a full season under his belt as the lead guy for the Toronto Raptors. So that's something huge to see. But really, the RJ Barrett quote, this is something that has me even more pumped up regarding this whole situation. Is basically RJ Barrett also came out, and before we switch gears fully, basically Immanuel Quickley also said that they have a lot of guys in Miami, and I know coach has a plan to get everyone together, so they're definitely doing that. In terms of individual improvement, he says just finding different spots offensively. So again, this sort of leads well into what I'm going to discuss regarding RJ Barrett and his potential development because the team, they're going all out on development this offseason, going down to Miami, going down to the warmth, and trying to build up that chemistry, build up those sort of team building that we've seen in seasons past for the Toronto Raptors. So the young group, that is going to be extremely crucial. Even without Rico Hines and the coaching staff and all that, I think this is a huge positive for this team. Going to be able to develop and move forward in that direction. So that's good to see. But RJ Barrett specifically had some quotes about development himself during this offseason. And basically, he came out and said that he wants to work on his shooting, playmaking, and defense this summer. So everyone here has gotten used to watching OG Anunoby play on the defensive end. And while he's not that, he's one of the best defenders that he's ever seen. He wants to get better on that side of the floor and show what he can do. Now, RJ Barrett has all of the physical intangibles to be able to be an elite defender in the NBA. And we were lied to by Knicks fans coming in. They were saying, oh, RJ Barrett isn't all that on the defensive end. He doesn't really bring it. He's not much of an athlete and all that type of stuff. Well, someone that at least got a half season watching RJ Barrett night in, night out, he seems like a guy that is pretty solid on the defensive end already. Is he perfect? No. Does he get blown by at times? The lateral quicks, there are some moments where, you could see it. There's room for improvement, but frankly, his size, strength, and mobility, I don't think he's bad. He's like slow-footed laterally or anything like that we were told by New York Knicks fans. I think he's been pretty solid on that in the floor. But then obviously, with the most respect possible, starting to give out, hey, I want to be like OG Anunoby on that end of the floor. I want to take some pride, take some passion, being able to do that. That is a massive, massive development for this Toronto Raptors team because RJ Barrett obviously has brought it on the offensive end for this Raptors group. Again, at just 23 years old this season, RJ Barrett for the Toronto Raptors averaged 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists per night, improved his three-point shooting, which is great. Obviously, the free throws have to improve there, but frankly, RJ Barrett, if he can really become an elite defender, a guy like a Drew Holiday, a Marcus Smart, where you just don't want to face off against those guys because RJ Barrett has the potential to have that strength. I think OG Anunoby is just a bigger guy. It's going to be a lot bigger than RJ Barrett is. So comparing him to more of those elite sort of two guards, because RJ Barrett, tall is he? 6'6", right? OG is 6'9", or 6'7". I forget how tall OG is now at this point, but has a lot of mass on him. OG is built kind of differently, than RJ Barrett. Not necessarily better, since I think RJ is way more explosive, but OG Anunoby's built to just absolutely clamp up players in the NBA. But if RJ can become that sort of Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday-esque defender and still put up these types of stats at 22 points per night, that's a legitimate all-star. That is a guy that season in, season out is getting selected to all-star teams, getting selected to all-NBA teams. I don't really care what anyone says. That is elite defense. If that area improves and then he's able to score like he is right now, forget the shooting, forget everything else that he sort of mentioned, what he wants to improve, his playmaking and shooting. Yeah. But if he just gets the defense there at another level, which is stressed in that quote, things are going to definitely take a massive sort of jump up for RJ Barrett because even though, his stats have been good for the Raptors, advanced stats have never been that awesome on the defensive end. Again, his offensive stuff really improved this season for the Toronto Raptors. It's on another level in terms of offensive box plus minus. Defensively, still a little bit in terms of a negative there, but the Raptors, there's a lot of stuff that goes into DPPM and offensive box plus minus. I don't like to lead into the advanced stats too much, but overall, they do shine some sort of light in terms of players' ability to defend out there on the court. But if those numbers go up, if those numbers increase, that's going to be a huge plus for this Raptors group. And then not to mitigate the shooting either, because RJ is taking a step up in terms of his shooting. He was shooting 44% from corner threes this year on this Raptors group, and that's without Scotty Barnes in a ton of these games, being able to get him open from the corners and stuff. That's since he's joined the Toronto Raptors. Again, shooting 39% from the three-point line with the Toronto Raptors group. That's absolutely crazy. Now, most of those threes are assisted on. He's not making a ton of them off the dribble or anything like that. But RJ Barrett, again, if he can really knock down those shots, if he can become elite at that three-point shooting ability, that's going to be huge. Take some more. He doesn't take a ton of threes in terms of his overall percentage, but he's such an elite driver. I don't want him to just become a three-point floor spacer, just playing a Grady Dick-esque style of game, attacking the rim a little bit more, getting stuff going. But again, if he takes those leaps, if he works on his game like he says he is in the offseason, that's going to be a massive development for this Toronto Raptors group. But folks, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. You guys are the best thing at the star. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I'm signing out. Cheers.